Nithyanandam, thank you so much for tuning in. So it's a little bit bright here today. I apologize if my eyes are a little bit squinty. Because of the brightness, I'm going to really try and make this video as quickly as possible. The whole focus of this video today will be the topic of guilt. So I had a really valid question asked by Anand in response to a video that I made the other day about completion. So how is it that we know we've completed with something? He shared that in that video where I was speaking about feeling that life had not supported me and then seeing that yes, life had in fact supported me, he had shared the same cognition, the same thought current. And once he could see this, that he started to feel guilty about it, which is actually something that I know many people will struggle with, and it's something that I've struggled with very much throughout my whole life, especially being raised as a Roman Catholic. It was just kind of ingrained in my response to situations in life. When I think back, especially of having to go to confession and confess my sins to a priest, I would be absolutely filled with guilt and shame, and it was something that I carried with me heavily, and it's something that I've really had to fight with on this path of sannyas now, is understanding what is guilt and how to overcome it. So now that I actually have this understanding myself, I thought I would share my understanding with you all, and I really want to help you all see the uselessness of guilt, especially guilt and shame, and how to come out of it. Just by a simple understanding of what it is, you're able to recognize it and drop it. See, if we look at guilt, all guilt is you currently, in this situation, in this body as you are now, are looking back at a situation in life or a thought current that you've had about life or a situation, or you're looking at a way that you have responded or acted in a particular way, situation, whatever. At this point in time now, you are looking back on that incident or that cognition or whatever from a space of judgment, right? You're judging something from the past in the space that you are in now, and the judgment that you're carrying now is making you feel guilty about something that you've done or a cognition that you've carried. So the thing that you really need to understand is, whatever the past cognition is that you're carrying or whatever past action you've done, put yourself back in that space, in that point in time, and really understand what it was at that point in time that you were integrated to, which made you have this particular action, reaction, or cognition. See, when I think for this example of me feeling that life wasn't supporting me, at one particular point in my life, I was unemployed, and I was really applying for, I had been in a really well-paying government job, and it was only contract work, but I can't say I was extremely happy there. I was happy with the money I was earning. The kind of work that I was doing was okay for me, and I was just happy with the kind of conditions I was working in, and mostly how much money I was able to make in a short amount of time. So once this contract ended, I was really applying myself into manifesting another job of a similar caliber. So I wanted to have another government job, and I was really applying myself into making this happen for me. So I remember that there was one job that again, really well paying, really good conditions. The work I was quite happy with, and I got shortlisted for an interview. Out of like 100 people, there was 10 of us. I went for this interview, and I really, really, really sincerely wanted this job. And the interview went really well, and I think it came down to like the last 4 of us that we were being selected for this job. And I ended up being rejected. At that point in time, when I received that phone call, or actually maybe it wasn't a phone call, I think it was like a formal letter that I received saying that thank you for my time, but I was unsuccessful. The rejection that I felt, the pain that I felt, this cognition that I carried that life wasn't supporting me. At that point in time, this was how I sincerely felt, and all the other circumstances, all of the other things that were happening in and around my life at that point in time were simply strengthening that cognition that life wasn't supporting me. So at that particular point in time, this was simply how I felt. I was really integrated to that thought current. My integrity was not even, I didn't even have the space or the will to see outside of that thought current. That incident itself created so much pain in me because I wanted that job so badly, and I had been unemployed for quite some time. So this feeling of desperation was kind of weighing in on me as well. So whatever at that point in time was there in my inner space, there was no other way for me to see this situation at that point in time. With all of my conditionings, with all of, like I said, everything that I was going through in my life, this was how I felt, and I was integrated to feeling that. Whatever anger I had towards life and disappointment, I was integrated to feeling that. See, now at this point in time, with the cognitions that I'm carrying, how much work I've done, introspective work, how much I've shifted in my cognitions, and how much I've gone from a powerless space into a powerful space. Me looking back on that incident at that point in time and being harsh towards myself and judging myself and saying, oh, come on, you should have known better. How couldn't you see that? Look at all the ways that life was actually supporting you. You're looking at one incident and a few small other things, and you're making a harsh judgment based off whatever else is there. Me doing that is in no way useful or helpful to me. It does not change that past situation, and it does not help me where I am today. By understanding that at any point in time where we've done something in our life, whether it's the things that, in our heart of hearts that we've really struggled with, like addictions like gambling, where we've made a commitment to our family that we're not going to gamble, but that Friday night we've gone and snuck out and we've put $100 in a machine and we've lost that money. Or we've promised that we're not going to drink alcohol anymore, but that pull is so strong, and then we've gone and we've had that drink secretly, and we've gone against what we've promised our family and ourselves. We have to understand that with addiction or anything, whatever it is that is pulling us to an action, towards an action or towards a thought current, we have to understand that our integrity is lying towards that. We just have to understand that what is it that we're actually integrated to, and what is it that we have been integrated to in the past. So by simply understanding that, at one point in time, I was more integrated to my addiction than I was to my family, or towards myself, or towards my transformation. By simply understanding and recognizing, hey, there's a gap in my integrity. Instead of going in the way that I have been thinking it should be, the integrity towards my addiction has been stronger. And simply recognizing that, by recognizing that, in that recognition itself, will allow the healing to happen. Looking back on an incident with judgment and then feeling guilty about it is in no way useful to you. Just simply understand that, okay, I had an integrity towards something that was stronger than my integrity towards something else. For example, the gambling. My integrity was stronger to my addiction than towards my family and towards myself. Simply by having that understanding, it'll be enough for you to heal that part of you and see how you can shift your integrity from, see if you're still struggling with it, how can you shift it from one thing, shift your energy from the negative aspect to the positive aspect. Energy is energy, right? It's where we choose to focus it that matters. Now, in terms of this whole feeling guilty about something, whenever you start feeling some kind of a guilt or some kind of a shame about something that you've done, simply understand that, hey, the person that I am now with the enlightened cognition or the higher cognition or the better understanding that wasn't there in my past, I'm just looking back on an incident and I'm being judgmental about it. Just have that sensitivity within yourself and recognition that, hey, this is something that I'm doing towards me right now. Drop it. That's all you have to do. That remembrance and recognition that you're looking back on something from a space of judgment should be enough for you to be able to see that you're doing it and be able to overcome it. See, I was someone that actually got into this loop of, not only would I start feeling guilty about something, I would start judging like a past incident and feeling guilty about it. Whether this incident was 10 years before or a day before, I would start feeling guilty about this incident. And then, because I'm a sannyasi and I should be knowing better, I would start feeling guilty about feeling guilty. And a Swami here actually was pointing this out. She could see in the heaviness in me, especially when I first got here, because I should know better and I'm so spiritual and I've taken up sannyas and you know, my patterns, I'm bigger than my patterns and I need to like fight with them head on. She could see this vicious loop inside of me and she would try and like wake me up to it and say, hey, come on, look at you, you're depressed about being depressed. And it would never really click with me. Like, I knew that what she was saying was true, but I could never really see a way out of it. So only after I could see that, oh God, I'm only torturing myself. And it's in no way useful. It's in no way helping me get beyond it. No, it's not helping me heal the past lower cognition or lower integrity towards something that I was trying to shift my energy off of. Neither is it helping me move from that space, nor is it helping me shift towards what I want. So with that simple remembrance, it's enough for me to snap out of it. So in the same way, just understand that at some point in time, you were integrated to this belief that life didn't support you. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? At that point in time, that was the perception that you had. Whether it's you were angry with someone or something, whether you wanted to do something that you know, perhaps it's not the best for you to do, at that point in time, you had an integrity towards that and you chose to put your energy towards that. And that's all there is to it. You made a decision, you had a cognition. Just understand why it was there in the first place and what was it inside of you that motivated you to take that action or have that cognition. And try and bring healing to that. That's the best thing that you can do. But please don't try and bash yourself about things that have happened in the past. If you can recognize that you're doing it, sometimes it can be deeply unconscious. Like for me, I was so conditioned to have a lower inner image of myself as a sinner. It was really difficult to break out of it. Like even after I've taken the vows of sannyas, I'm, like when I first got here, these things would happen where I'd feel guilty about not doing the right thing, or I should know better, was something that was really something that I struggled with for a small portion of time, and now I've very much come out of it. So I hope this video has helped you, and if you have any questions about what I've shared, please feel free to comment, and I'm happy to give you some more light about, how to heal something if you feel that, yeah, okay, I can see I was really integrated to something in my life that I wish I hadn't have been. Again, there's a way in which you can heal that part of you. And if you want some more information on how to do that, I can share some of Swamiji's videos with you guys, and obviously I can make another video based off of what other further questions you guys have. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll be sharing with you all again soon. Nityananda.